Hello again, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel. This is going to be another one of Prince Magnum's Top 10s. Alright, if you've been keeping up with the channel, as I hope you have been, I think we're up to 66 subscribers as I'm talking about this right now. For all of you 66 subscribers and anybody else who's kind enough to log on and, to hit that subscribe button, when you do, thank you automatically. You all know that I love car shows. I love car shows. Love going to car shows. And I love going to car cruises. Matter of fact, I'm kind of an honorary member of the Foothills Car Club in St. Francis County. And I love the guys in the group. Most of them are a little bit older than me, but that's okay. I love each and every one of them and every one of their projects. But when you go to a car cruise, what are some things that you can expect? Well, there's kind of I guess you could say, a list that Princess Faye and I have come up with to help you understand what you're going to run into. And some of these are going to be funny, some of these are going to be very serious, and some of these are just going to be very special. So let's get on with it. Let's start off with the top 10 people that you will meet at a car show. All right, number 1, Ricky Restoration. Ricky Restoration is the guy who spent, I'm going to say, an awfully long time building his project car. Now, this is not like any project car you're going to run into. Ricky Restoration's car is, we'll say, it from 1987 and older, and it's a fully restored classic car or antique. It could be something like, I'll just throw this one out there, a fully restored 1957 Chevy, two-door, 210 series hardtop with the matching 283 and power glide transmission. You see where this is going. I mean, every detail counted in this car. Now, the moment Ricky Restoration gets to the location, he's going to put up a white picket fence around that thing. I mean, he's going to have the fence around it. You're not even going to be able to get close enough to this car. Because if there's anything that's going to happen to this car, it's going to be Ricky Restoration's fault. Also, understand, a lot of your trailer queens, that's Ricky Restoration's car. He doesn't want to drive this on the road. He doesn't want anything to happen to his project. Okay? And rightfully so. He's spent so much time rebuilding it, he doesn't want you messing it up. So when you go to your car, when you go to a car show, whether you're a spectator or you're showing a car, please do me a favor. Don't get up there. Don't even mess around his car. Look, don't touch. I mean, this is a very special car. Show your respect, okay? And that's Ricky Restoration. Number 2, the new guy. I love the new guy. I think a lot of us in the hot rod community love the new guy. He's worked on his project. He's maybe 16, 17. I'll say he could be anywhere from 16 all the way up to 22 years old. And this is his first car show, okay? And for at least the first few times you see him, he's going to be very excited. I mean, you're not going to be able to contain this guy. He's going to be all over the place, wanting to look at everybody's project, especially one that he's really never seen before. And, he's going to get really excited. I mean, you almost have to wipe the drool off the fender because he's been looking at your project. And he's just really excited. Explain to him the rules with Ricky Restoration and that sort of thing. And try to take him under your wing and make sure that you introduce him to our bonus guy. Because you know me, I like to do bonuses. I like to be giving. Anyhow, so that's the new guy. All right, on to number 3, the poser. You guys all call them ricers. I call them posers. And he's going to pull in. He's going to be very stereotypical. It's going to be like a front-wheel drive foreign car that's got the off-the-shelf decam muffler. It's got tons and tons and tons and tons of neon lights. It's going to be like a Christmas tree under his car or everywhere on it, And and he's going to have all the flashy stickers on it from car companies, aftermarket car companies, and he hasn't got a single part from any of these companies. Okay? This is a show car, and he doesn't know it. He's built the car for show. And there's nothing wrong with that. The poser cars an admiration for, because in the way that some of the younger hot rodders act, like you have to do it a certain way, they're going against the grain and doing what they want. However, when they're over there hitting the rev limiter and trying to do burnouts and getting stupid, well, that's the time to send them on home. They don't need to be there, okay? Because chances are they're going to do something stupid. They're going to mess up somebody's project, maybe even Ricky Restoration's project, which that's just a piece of American history. And if you understand how I feel about that, I mean, understand this at this point. We have to protect our projects, so we don't want that poser on our lot. At that point, we need to send them on down the road, and if need be, we may have to call the police. So if the poser poses a threat, we need to get them off your lot. Okay? Moving on. Number 4 is none other than Faction Frank. Now, in the hot rod community, I guess you could say we're all Faction Franks. For whatever reason or another, we've grabbed onto a particular car company that has grabbed our eye. For whatever reason. For the longest time, I was a GM kind of guy because that's what I grew up around. My dad always had GMs. And so automatically, I will gravitate towards GMs a little quicker. However, your Faction Franks at car meets, Ford is the best. Mopar's the best. Chevy's the best. And you'll almost see fights break out because they want to prove who's better. Honestly and truthfully, I've just learned in later years, as long as it's an American car, that's all that matters at this point. Classic is still classic, and muscle is still muscle, and we need to preserve all of those treasures in our history. However, if you ever want to see serious hate with a bunch of Faction Franks, get a bunch of Mopar and Ford and GM guys around, and they're kind of arguing and everything, what's better, and then all of a sudden someone comes up and says Honda's better. You want to see some serious hate? Oh, God. All right. Moving on, number 5, the Mustang Magician. If there's ever anybody that is a danger to society and to car shows and car meets, it's the Mustang Magician. Now, understand, when I say the Mustang Magician, I'm not talking about that beautiful classic Mustang from the 60s, the 70s. I'm not talking about those. I'm not even talking about the Fox body Mustangs from 1980 all the way up until 92. I'm talking about that nitwit that pulled up in a newer model Mustang from 93 to present date. That's the Mustang Magician. Now, the Mustang Magician has somehow convinced himself that this is an American classic. Now, depending on the year if it's like, say, 1996 and older, well, yeah, he's right. It is now an American classic, but it doesn't qualify as that one classic car from like the 60s. You know the one I'm talking, and somehow he has magically tricked himself into believing that it is. No, it's not. Okay? On top of that, the Mustang Magician, it's like he has tricked himself into believing that he's, some sort of race car driver when he's not. This guy can't even back up. I'll give you a great example. When we did the cruise in for the blind, there was a guy, I knew he was an amazing driver at one time, but he had a late model Mustang, and it was like that Mustang sucked his knowledge out of his head. It was like, and it just sucked his knowledge out of his head and his abilities to drive, and he almost slammed into a 70s Lincoln Continental, and my wife was very close. Princess Faye was very close, and I was worried he was going to run over her. Okay? So that's the Mustang Magician. He's very dangerous. Be very careful. And because of him, we have Mustang memes now. Okay? So just bear that in mind. All right. Number 6, Rod Ronnie. One of my favorites. Rod Ronnie has that cool, really antique car. It's got that surface rust thing going, and it's got big fat tires on it and this monstrous engine. You know the moment that Rod Ronnie romps on that throttle, I mean, you know that engine's going to twist the frame. He don't care because his car is cool. I mean, shoot, the dang doors are somewhere on the body. It's got actual bullet holes where he decided to get drunk one night and shoot the car or truck. Okay, and these rat rods are really awesome looking to look at. Don't expect them to do burnouts because, as I said, chances are they're going to twist that frame. Okay, the moment that, I mean, that engine's just got so much torque, it's going to twist the frame. And these cars are very cool to look at, and in most cases, they'll tell you what kind of car it is, even right down to the year and everything else. It's just really an awesome, awesome car. Definitely something to check out, and I promise you, Rod Ronnie, he's one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet. Usually he's up there in his years. Not always, but usually. Anyhow, moving on. Number 7, Wheel Stand Willie. Wheel Stand Willie has got that, we'll say, 50s, 60s, 70s, sometimes 80s, maybe into the 90s. I mean, who knows? But basically from the 1950s to current date, hot rod that when he pulls in, you know he's running some serious horsepower. Okay, let me put it to you like this. He'll slam that sucker into third gear, do a burnout, I mean, where there's nothing but this cloud of smoke, and you're like, dude, what would happen if you did that in first gear? He'd look at you and go, I would go into a wormhole and you would never see me again. Okay, this car's got so much power that if he decided to go through all of his gears, as soon as he hit his final drive, his flux capacitor would kick in and he would travel back in time. Okay, I'm not kidding you. You know the cars I'm talking about. I mean, just idling in, it's like, and you're like, whoa. You know, it is awesome. And Wheel Stand Willie, I mean, the term refers to the fact that his car could probably do a wheel stand on the drag strip. I'm not kidding you. These cars are awesome. And in most cases, they're fixed up so beautifully well. I mean, just, they're gorgeous cars. You know, just awesome to look at. And really, these cars belong on a drag strip. And there's even in some instances where there's Wheel Stand Willies that will bring their cars like that to a car show on a trailer, another one of those trailer queens. So show your respect for Wheel Stand Willie. All right, number 8, Mr. Project Car. Mr. Project Car pulls in. His car doesn't exactly fit show car status yet, and but if you watch over time, you'll see the car kind of go through its changes. Now, this extended period could be weeks, months, and in some cases, years. But as long as Mr. Project Car has his project, he'll continue to work on it. And if you just keep going to the car meets and the car shows, you'll see it change over time. And Mr. Project Car sometimes has that rare gem. As a matter of fact, I'm a Mr. Project Car. When I go, and everyone likes to see what I've done next. And that's just the tight-knit community that you'll see in the hot rod community, especially in small towns. So definitely give your respects to Mr. Project Car. All right, moving on. Number 9, Hot Rod Henrietta. Now, these are these rare gems. And you'll have to excuse some of my language. I'm going to try to keep it as innuendo, but I'll do my best. But Hot Rod Henrietta is your future little old lady from Pasadena. As a matter of fact, my wife is a Hot Rod Henrietta, Princess Faye, because she does a lot of the work to her own project. Now, what makes these so rare gems in the hot rod community is, I mean, you see them every now and again, but the men really start drooling over Hot Rod Henriettas. Not the hot rod, the woman. Okay, and the reason being is because she's got the, you know, the toughness and everything else. And believe me when I say, when Princess Faye and I show both Project Spirit and Project Vera, let me say up front, I'm always keeping an eye out for her, because the young men start, did you do this yourself? And it's like, grrr, get away from my wife, you know, check out the cars, not my wife, you know. But then again, you know, my wife is very beautiful, so I understand. But that's what, you know, Hot Rod Henriettas are very, very special. And just be forewarned, if you're guys, if you have a hot rod Henrietta, keep a close eye on her. They'll try, there people, guys will try to run off with her. I'm serious. All right, moving on. Number 10. And excuse my language, the asshole. This is the guy that shows up. He's got the fast car, and he knows it. He knows it. He's built this car, and he knows it'll whoop yours. But he's going to try to go around trying to get everybody to race him. Okay? And he's looking to get money out of your pocket or to go home with your ride. Okay? And the reason why I call him an asshole is because he's gonna tick you off. And when he does, just ignore him. Just ignore him. Tell him to kick rocks. Okay? Because this day and age, street racing is very dangerous. Okay? There was a time when it was okay, if you had some back street or something like that, but not today. Street racing is very dangerous. The traffic levels, even on a back road, make it next to impossible to do. So, ignore this guy, and if he keeps ticking everybody off, one of two things. Introduce him to Wheel Stand Willie, and stand back, because Wheel Stand Willie will do the job. He'll fix this guy. Or number 2, call the police and get him off your lot. You don't need him bringing your car show down or your car meet. Get that asshole off your lot. Okay? That brings us to the end of the top 10. Because this is the Prince Magnum channel, I like to throw in a bonus. I like to be that kind of giving host on the channel. I like to give you as much bang for your buck for at least sitting with me this long, because these descriptions were a little long. And I understand that. And I tried to cut them down, but there's just too much. This is actually even cut down further. But last but not least, my bonus for you all, Moonshine Mike. Moonshine Mike gets his name because he's been doing this since the days when hot rodding had some darker origins in moonshining. He's been building cars longer than you and I have probably been alive. Who, the viewer of this video, he's been doing it a long time. Moonshine Mike knows the ins and outs of cars like you would not believe. He's going to pull in, he's probably got some really cool car that he's worked on. He's had it for years. He's worked on it. It's an amazing ride. And the moment you're pulling in with your car, he heard what was wrong with it 2 blocks away. And he's like, a little bit of tiger's blood will fix that. And you have no idea what he's talking about. Then he pulls out something that he's concocted, and it's tiger's blood, and he puts it in your engine, and all of a sudden, your engine magically runs better. It's like, whew, man, that's a relief. Now I don't have to kill the tiger and go to jail. Moonshine Mike is one of those great American treasures that's slowly dying off. And matter of fact, one of the people that taught me how to work on cars and how to build them and things like that was a Moonshine Mike, and he's been gone for 6 years now. So the heck with the Smithsonian. I like Moonshine Mike, and it's going to be a sad day when he's gone. And when he goes, most of the hot rodding traditions that we all enjoy today, that's slowly fading into history, he'll take with him. So make sure you introduce the new guy to Moonshine Mike, because Moonshine Mike will take the time out and make sure that he passes on as much knowledge as he can to the new guy and help preserve our hot rodding heritage. Well, that brings us to the end of this top 10. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thank you all for sticking with me this long. Get out there and work on a project. Be your do-it-yourselfer. Get out there. And if you've got a sweetheart, tell them you love them. And above all, if nobody has told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you.